This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Welcome to Easy Eats. My name is Chef Yves Dechaine, and today we are in our newly renovated Greener Villages Learning Kitchen with Kimothy Stewart, one of our board members and budding new author. Welcome, Kimothy. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Perfect. So, Kimothy, you are one of our board members, so essentially you're one of my bosses. So let's talk about a little bit how you became a board member and how does one get involved, I guess, on that aspect of the Greener Village.
Absolutely. I will start by saying, though, that this is your kitchen, so you're the boss today. So actually, some people know and some people don't that I used to be a client of Greener Village. So I was coming here on a monthly basis several years ago to pick up a food hamper and also access some of the other services that you were offering at the time. They weren't quite as plentiful as you're offering now. Like, Greener Village has grown so much.
We have
since
evolved,
then.
haven't we? Yeah.
So much. But at that time, I was accessing the services that you did offer. So while I was accessing the services here, I was able to go back to school. I was working full time, and I went back to school and worked toward 3 diplomas.
Wow.
In that time, so that I could keep, moving up and working toward more. And the food bank was a huge part in my success of that.
So do you find now that you have a different perspective? I know that a lot of, we always search for different members of the board to get a good, well-rounded. You're kind of the client eye, aren't you? And how do you find that helps you on the board level?
I think it's an amazing aspect. So we have some incredible people on the board of directors here, and people from all walks of life. So people who were chefs, before they retired, doctors, lawyers, just so many incredible people. And so to come in as a former client, I'm able to give my perspective from the client's point of view. And I certainly don't speak for all clients, but I'm able to give my experience in the way that, for example, the food bank used to be open on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons for food pickups.
Yes.
And I was working full time. So Tuesday and Thursday afternoons were, difficult for me. And when I shared my story about how I used to have to tell my boss, and if my boss is watching, my former boss, I used to have to tell my boss that I had a dentist appointment because I needed time to be able to drive from Oromocto to Fredericton, because I did live here in Fredericton. I worked in Oromocto, so I would drive from Oromocto to Fredericton, pick up my food hamper, take it home so that the frozen goods and stuff would still be good, and then I would have to get back to work. So nobody wants to tell their boss they're going to the food bank. So I would tell my boss that I was going to the dentist to buy me that time to do that. And the whole time that I'm doing this drive, you would think I would be thinking like, ooh, what if my boss finds out or something? But what I'm really thinking is, I've just used this extra gas this week. How am I going to afford gas for the rest of the week to get to and from work? So that story, when I told it to the board and to the CEO, they learned that maybe they need to extend those food pickup hours. And then eventually you started offering delivery services for food hampers and stuff. So some incredible things have come from me being able to give that perspective on the board of directors.
Well, that's exactly it. And to serve our clients with dignity and respect and where they're at, I think is a big thing. And I think that's here at the Greener Village is what we're striving for, is anybody can be in the situation where they're going to need help. Like you said, you were working, and there's that kind of that shadow or that cloud, and I think we're trying to kind of erase that stigma. You shouldn't be ashamed to say, listen, I need to go pick up food for my kids and my family. This is when it's open. This is what I need to do. And again, we're kind of changing that, and I think with help from board members like yourself who have actually been on the, you want to call them the front lines, or actually experienced that. Because like you had said, a lot of our board members are professionals. So we do have our accountants, we have our engineers, we have our chefs, but those are people that are a little bit more affluent, so they may have not seen what you've experienced. So that's what's really nice to have a true voice of the people that we're serving on the board, which is fantastic.
And one thing I have to tell you is that I am treated 100% the same today as a board member as I was as a client all those years ago. There's no difference in the way that I'm treated here when I walk in those doors.
Well, and like we said, that is what we strive for, is people with dignity, with respect. I mean, everyone struggles, everyone trips, and that's what the Greener Villages is there for, is to give you that hand to help you up with anything that you may need that we can offer help with.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What do you do now as a profession? And then I know that you're kind of an amateur author as well. So let's kind of touch a little bit about that too.
Sure. So when I first went back to school, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, but I knew that I needed to do more.
Yes.
To be able to provide for my family. And so I started out with a business management diploma, pretty broad.
Yeah,
absolutely. You can kind of go anywhere with that. There's so many things. And then I started kind of honing it down and went into public relations and received a diploma in that. And then eventually, kind of just for fun, I did the paralegal diploma.
Okay.
Which actually, as I transitioned into my career in marketing, I have found that my legal education has really helped with that. So how I kind of transitioned into becoming an author, to be honest, was a little bit of a surprise, honestly. So I absolutely love our provincial parks and really anything about New Brunswick. And I wanted to share my knowledge and my love of our provincial parks with future generations in a fun and educational way.
Oh, okay, cool.
So something that could be passed on as time goes on. So I decided the best way to do that, kind of in my spare time in the evenings, I just started writing this book. And I wanted it to be an animal, and what says New Brunswick like a moose, right?
Right, absolutely, yeah.
So the character of Morgan Moose became a reality, I guess, and Morgan travels through each of the provincial parks, and we learn a little something.
It's not an official parks thing, it's a you thing, right?
Absolutely,
yeah.
Yes. So I was able to take my knowledge from working with Parks New Brunswick and apply it in my spare time to this project that I started. And I had originally approached Monster House Publishing here in Fredericton.
Okay, yes.
And they weren't taking book submissions at the time, but I asked them just for some advice.
Okay.
Where do I go with this idea? I've written it, now what do I do? And I know that you're not taking submissions, but where can you help me? And they took a look at the project and they said, actually, we'd really like to get involved with this. I wanted to create a character that everyone could identify with.
Okay.
So I chose an animal, Morgan Moose, and Morgan's pronouns are they, them, so that any child, boy, girl, any child can identify with being Morgan.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And Morgan meets different friends throughout the province at each of the provincial parks. And I will tell you that in this book, there are characters that are very close to me, very dear to me. So I was able to add my children as characters.
Well, that's always fun.
So we have my daughter who is at New River Beach running the sand sculpture competition.
Oh, fun.
And we have my youngest child at Fundy Trail Provincial Park. And my dad is also in the book. He passed away in 2010, so this was me kind of bringing him back to life. And my partner's daughter is, and it's kind of funny that it worked out this way. Her name is Hope, and she's Hope from Hopewell.
Hi, I'm Damilola Ajibade, the host of The Journey Amplified on Rogers TV, where we share stories about newcomers and immigrants in the province, their achievements, their successes, their challenges, and how they are finding integration into a new country, into a new area. Join us on The Journey Amplified on Rogers TV.
Sports is life. It's clear cut. Everything's out in the open. There's nowhere to hide. I had to prove myself more than anyone else.
You must be so proud of your son. He's gonna go pro. The sky's the limit.
There's always a winner and a loser.
You cannot reach the sky in broken cleats.
Of course, I always want to be the winner. And I did reach the sky.
Norman Kwong, the first Chinese-Canadian professional football player, still holds records to this day. He retired from the sport in 1960 and later became Lieutenant Governor of Alberta.
Welcome back to Easy Eats. Again, we are in the Learning Kitchen with Kimothy Stewart, board member here at the Greener Village and author of Morgan Moose. So today, when I heard you were coming on and we were going to talk about Morgan the Moose and him exploring the parks in New Brunswick, I thought I would share my favorite seasonal maritime dish. So we've had a little bit of a discussion on where this dish comes from. I have a lot of Nova Scotian friends that claim it as their own. I'm from away, which means that I'm an import here into the province. So I'm learning about the province. So I've always grown up not knowing what this is, but hodgepodge. We're gonna make some hodgepodge today. My Nova Scotian friends say it's their own. I've talked to some of my in-laws. They're saying, no, this is our dish. So I said, well, you know what? It's a maritime dish and it's perfect for this time of year. So when new vegetables are coming out of the ground, like our new potatoes, we've got beans coming off the stalks, we've got all these, you're thinning out your carrots. Why not take advantage of all that and make hodgepodge? So, really simple, and I'll show you how to do it. So we've got these new potatoes that we've just cleaned up, and we're just gonna cut them into smaller bits. A traditional hodgepodge is 4 vegetables: carrots, new potatoes, green beans, and you'll notice there's one missing: peas. Now, I wanted to grab everything from the garden here on property, and our peas aren't quite ready. So I was like, that's okay, we don't have to put peas in it. And again, it's okay. If you don't have something, like anything else, you can omit it, and it's not a big deal. And if you wanted to add more things to your hodgepodge, it wouldn't be traditional, but I mean, who cares? You can add corn if you wanted to.
I feel like in New Brunswick they might add fiddleheads.
They may add fiddleheads, yeah. Different part of the season though, so if you have some in the freezer, you could add fiddleheads, absolutely.
So you say you're an import to New Brunswick.
I am, yes.
Maybe you need to read the Morgan Moose Visits New Brunswick Provincial Parks to learn a little bit more.
Absolutely, a little bit more. I have visited the provincial parks, but yeah, no, it'd be great to see if I've missed anything. There we go. So a little bit more about that. So provincial parks, you've always had a passion for nature and things like that. Is that what kind of brought you towards tourism NB?
I think it was a lucky thing. I saw the position of marketing coordinator for Parks New Brunswick open, and it looked amazing, and it really is. It is, yeah. It really is. Yeah.
Perfect. So we're at that step right now, and then all we're going to do is we're just going to grab our beans. I've tipped and I tailed them, and that's really simple. All you do is you grab the end that's on the bean, clip that off, and then this is the flower end or the butt end, and you always want to clip that off as well. And then there it is, your bean tipped and tailed. We're just going to add that to the pot as well, and then we'll get into the carrots. So usually what I try to do is not peel them at all, but I had a really hard time getting the dirt off of these, so we're going to have to peel them. So, and again, that's just the nature of it sometimes. So we'll just grab these here and we'll give them a quick peel.
A little New Brunswick soil.
A little, yeah, well, that's it. I mean, whatever you do at home is okay, but right here, I don't, we'll leave the dirt on the carrots. If I were to go and see a park, what highlights would you pick out? So say I went to New River Beach, what should I take in?
Oh, New River Beach has such an expansive beach, and the annual sand sculpture competition that happens every year. This year it's on Saturday, August 2nd until the 4th. They've actually turned it into the Bay of Fundy Sand Sculpture Festival this year. Oh, fun. So it's bigger, it's better than ever before, but still keeps that old tradition from, I think it's been 36, 37 years that we've been doing it. You think maybe someone is going to make a Morgan Moose? We can hope. We could hope, yeah. And it's, I think an amazing thing about our provincial parks is that you can walk on the ocean floor at the lowest point of New Brunswick right up to the highest peak of the Maritimes at Mount Carlton.
Carrots are peeled. Really simple. We'll take the tops off.
I would like to tell you too that République Provincial Park,
Yes.
it's up near in the Edmundston area.
It's right on the border between Quebec and I had the privilege of visiting. It's a great spot because my family are from Ontario. So what we do is we meet halfway and we do a lot of camping. So the last time we got together was at République.
And it's an awesome family park.
It is.
But it also has a community garden where they grow vegetables that campers can actually pull from.
Really?
Yeah, for free. It's just
that's
offered
pretty
to the
cool.
campers.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got our carrots, and I mean, there's no rhyme or reason. You just kind of want to chunk them up roughly the same size as your potatoes. And I'm going a little quick here. We were chatting, and I made a mistake. So we're not going to put our beans in yet at all. So those go in a little bit later.
So Yves, why do you take the beans out?
Well, basically, we want to cook everything so everything's finished at the same time. So it takes longer to cook the potatoes than it does to cook the beans. Mm-hmm. So we're going to put the beans right at the end. So usually our carrots and our potatoes will go in together. So that's what we're going to do right now.
That makes sense.
Is we're going to pop those in. We'll pop them on the burner. We're going to turn this on. There we are. We're just going to, and this is what I like about hodgepodge, is it's vegetables, it's super healthy, but it's very decadent as well. It's not healthy because now we're going to be putting milk and cream in here now. So the idea is we take, you take whole milk or 2% milk, and we're basically going to poach our vegetables in the milk. There's different schools of thought. Some people will poach it in water first and get them pre-done, drain them, put them back in the pot, and then we'll heat the milk and cream back up. I find if we're going to poach them, we may as well go all the way. So what I usually do is I use a liter of 2% milk, and then I grab some coffee cream. So anywhere from 10 to 18%, half and half, I guess. And then we're just going to add that to the pot as well.
But it's still healthy because vegetables.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And then all we're going to do now is we're just going to stir this up like this. And we're just going to let that poach until the carrots and the potatoes become nice and soft.
Okay.
Are you a content creator looking to expand your audience and make your voice heard in your community? Rogers TV wants to provide you with a platform to share your hobbies, interests, and stories for free. Visit us to find out more.
Hi, I'm Lou.
And I'm Sue, and we've been working on something pretty special. It's a new podcast, and we'd love to have you join us.
We are decade-long best friends, chatting about life, love, and what we've learned. And we can both agree it's never boring.
We invite you to see for yourself on the next episode of the Lou and Sue podcast.
Right here on Rogers TV.
Good afternoon, this is your captain speaking. You have no idea where in the world you really are. Wow. No map, no plan, no clue. This is Destination X. Well, this ought to be fun. Oh, it's open! Austria. All you have to do to win is answer one simple question. Where the X am I?
Hi, I'm Bob Lennon, host of the Northern Heat Report. Join me for these inspiring stories of people who have helped make New Brunswick such an amazing place to live, visit, and experience. Don't miss our next episode of the Northern Heat Report right here on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Easy Eats. Again, we are in the Greener Villages Learning Kitchen with Kimothy Stewart, one of our board members and author of Morgan the Moose. She's stirring our hodgepodge right now, and everything is basically what we want to do is we want to kind of stir it and adjust the heat. And we're just going to simmer it, like I said, until things get tender. So while those are getting tender and stuff like that, let's talk a little bit about the book. Morgan visits how many parks in this book?
Morgan visits 11 provincial parks in this book.
In the story, they're exploring the parks, but who do they meet along the way?
So they meet different characters at different parks, and I chose animals that you would likely find within those parks, as best I could. For example, at Parley Beach, Morgan Moose meets Larry the Lobster.
Okay.
So you may not necessarily see a lobster while you're at Parley Beach, but you know, it's more likely than maybe seeing a moose there.
Right.
Except Morgan.
Well, absolutely. He's touring, right? He's on vacation.
And Morgan actually does run into another moose on their travels at Mount Carlton Provincial Park, and that's Mosquee moose.
Okay.
Yes, and at Parc Provincial de la République, up near Edmundston, Morgan runs into Amélie l'abeille.
Oh,
so
a bee.
Amélie the bee.
Fun.
Yes. And they talk about pollination.
These characters are basically just extolling the highlights of each park, telling the story, kind of making it approachable for, well, I mean, someone to get excited about the parks, isn't it?
They are. So like at North Lake Provincial Park, for example, Morgan learns about canoe safety.
Okay.
With Sarah Squirrel.
Nice. North Lake Park, I'm not familiar with it. Tell me a little bit more about it.
North Lake is a nice quiet park. It's sort of an off-grid park. There are only a few campsites that have electricity, but for the most part, they don't have electricity. So it's very back in the woods, quiet, peaceful. There's a beautiful lake there. You can bring your canoe, kayak, any sort of paddleboard, any sort of paddling adventure can happen there on the lake. It's so beautiful.
So let's talk a little bit more about the book, Kimothy. What kind of process, how did it all come about?
I had the idea because I want to teach future generations about our provincial parks and our province in general.
Yeah.
And I reached out to the publisher to just get some advice because, like I said, they weren't taking submissions at that time. And from the time that they actually did pick up the book and want to work with it, it was about a year of editing, working with the illustrator, and just the final product, and then there's the marketing afterward.
Well, and again, how do you pick the illustrator?
Well, it's definitely best that I did not illustrate the book because they would have been stick animals.
Okay.
And stickmen. It was actually easy for me to pick my illustrator. I know that different authors go through different processes to choose their illustrator. For me, it was easy. I have a friend who, you know, this is what she does. She does graphic design, she does illustrations, and that sort of thing. So when I reached out to her with my idea, she had always wanted to illustrate a children's book.
Oh,
so
that's fantastic.
Her name is Erin McMaster. She grew up here in New Brunswick as well. And she always, and you know, she's designed some other things for me, but she always takes my ideas and makes them 1,000 times better. So it was an easy choice for me.
So I think everything is looking pretty good right now. Let me just kind of check. Yeah, no, we're almost there. So this is the time right now, turn that back up a little bit, that I'm going to add our beans back to it, just like this. And while we're adding the beans, and if this wasn't decadent enough with the half and half cream and the milk, what we're going to do, and this is back when butter and milk and stuff was cheap. So we're just gonna add a knob of butter, and a knob of butter is anywhere between 2 to 4 tablespoons of butter. Depends on how decadent you want your hodgepodge to be. But again, this is one of those dishes where I'll enjoy 2 or 3 times in the season, but that's pretty much it. It's rich, it's flavorful, but it's not it's not an everyday food, I guess. Let's put it that way. It's a celebration food. It's a nice Sunday dinner food. It's company's coming food.
I've never made it before. This is a first for me.
And you'll notice that the starch from the potatoes will thicken the cream up as well. So it will be a thin broth. So it's kind of like a chowder, but a thinner chowder than I guess you'd be used to. And then we're just going to add a little bit of ground black pepper. And that's pretty much it for seasoning. And again, back when this was created, everyone had cows. And everything was from the land, from the homestead, and it was something that you could just make all the time. That was simple, easy, and again, beautifully decadent. Mm-hmm. And now, well, it only happens in restaurants or in or at grandma's house every once in a while, right? So we've been talking about the book, but we haven't talked about where you can get it. So where can we find Morgan, and where can we buy the book?
So it's definitely available in the provincial parks that have stores set up.
Okay.
And it's also available at chapters, and that's anywhere from Prince Edward Island right up to Ontario across there.
So the whole Maritimes is supporting the book. That's fantastic.
And it's also available at Monster House Publishing. They have a storefront down on Northumberland Street. And it's available at Westminster Books, as well as online.
what we're going to do here is just let me serve some up for you, and I'll grab some myself. And it's just so nice. The idea is you want all these lovely vegetables, and then just a little bit of cream right over top. Sometimes this is all I have for supper, just like this, with some nice crusty bread. Or I'll have a nice piece of chicken, or a nice piece of fish, or a piece of pork. If we're talking about going New Brunswick, we've got some lovely pig farmers and things just upriver from us right here that we can definitely try, just like that. And there we go. It's simple. So Morgan heard us talking about them and about the book, so they decided to join us here in the kitchen today. Welcome, Morgan. Morgan is a moose of few words. So and they got here just in time to taste the hodgepodge. So Kimothy, why don't you taste it and then maybe share a little bit with Morgan.
Oh wow. Morgan, you're up. There you go. What do you think?
So one final thing before we leave today, will you be out signing any books anywhere in the near future?
I have actually had a couple of book signings in provincial parks, and at each of these signings I have a donation bin for the Fredericton Food Bank for Greener Village, and in exchange for donations I'm giving out Morgan Moose character bookmarks. And I have another book signing coming up on August 30th at Chapters in Fredericton.
So Kimothy, thank you so much for sharing your wonderful book. Sharing about the beauty that we have in the province here of New Brunswick. And thank you so much for being a board member and for lending your voice to the people who a lot of times in corporations like this end up being voiceless. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for putting yourself out there. And thank you for being a great advocate for the Greener Village.
Thank you so much for having me. And I always say that Greener Village never asked for anything in return for all the help they gave me, but I'm so happy that I can give back.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
Heartbeat of Mother Earth, I feel you and embrace your warmth. I see you dancing through the trees. Your song floats on the summer breeze. Community, we come together. We are the voice of our ancestors. Thankful for how much you bless us. Feel the thunder in the drum. All our voices sing as one. Feel the power, feel the pride. Feel the drumbeat deep inside. Feel the boom, feel the bass. Let's let go of time and space. It'll make you dance, it'll make you sing. Ode Wegun, Wedok Wishin. The drum will lead you, take you far. Always remember who you are.
This is Rogers TV,